In the spring of 2025, we took a Viking romantic Danube River cruise. We sailed down the Danube visiting Regensburg and Passau Germany, Krems in Vienna, Austria, Bratislava, Slovakia, and Budapest, Hungary. Since we did an up and back trip, there are some shots that will be cloudy and some of the same shots with blue skies. I will pre-apologize for any mispronunciations. Castle Hill on the Buda high mountainous side was first settled and fortified in the 13th century by King Bela IV after the devastating Mongol invasion of 1241. This is where the city of Buda started. Over the centuries, this became the residence of the kings and the capital of the country. This was part of the king's larger push to build fortified towns across all of Hungary. The king also ordered that people previously living at the foot of the hill move up the hill for protection. As part of the Austrian Empire, Hungary and Buda and Pest, the community on the other side of the Danube prospered, entering a period of social, cultural, and economic advancement. It was during this period the royal palace was rebuilt, and later Matthias's church was extended, and in the late 19th century it was extensively restored in the Gothic style. There has been a place of worship here since 1015, since the first Hungarian king. The church was used as a coronation church by Hungarian kings for centuries. It was also a mosque for over 150 years by the Ottoman Turks. The building was once owned by the Franciscans, the Jesuits, and is now a Catholic church. Matthias's church is the Church of Our Lady, but all the locals call it the Matthias Templum. According to historians, a church called Church of Mary stood on the site of the current building, founded by Saint Stephen, the first king of Hungary, in 1015. The current Roman Catholic Church was founded by King Bela IV after the Mongol invaders left Hungary in 1242 in complete ruins. It was then that King Bela decided to move the royal residence from the town of Esztergom in the Danube Bend to the Buda Hills. There is also a relic room here that holds a splinter from the cross on which Christ was crucified. This section is called the Fisherman's Bastion, and that's because in the 19th century there was a series of construction to celebrate the 1000th anniversary of Hungary. Fisherman's Bastion was built over part of Buda's old medieval walls protecting the castles. There were many sieges over the years, and the castle buildings, including its walls, were often destroyed and rebuilt. In case of attack, the castle was to be defended by men from the Fishermen's Guild. That's why the name. Why fishermen? Probably due to the location close to the Danube and the number of fishermen who worked and lived in a place called Fishtown or Watertown right beneath the walls. I suppose it's like there are no atheists in a foxhole, there are no non-combatants in a siege. The Fisherman's Bastion has 5 round towers and a main tower with several stories. The 7 turrets in the bastion symbolize the 7 Hungarian tribes that occupied the Carpathian Basin in the late 9th century and then went on to found the country of Hungary. The views of the Pest side from here are incredible, and I suppose before all these buildings you could see an enemy coming from quite a distance. I think this black flag on the balcony is due to the death of the Pope. Although these are now brick, in the Middle Ages this part of the castle wall was protected by the guild. During World War II, the Fisherman's Bastion was seriously damaged. In 1943, the Hungarian Second Army fighting on the Axis side had been all but wiped out on the Russian front. German troops, fearing a Soviet invasion, entered Budapest in 1944, and the Nazis took control of Hungary. The Soviets closed in on Budapest, embarking on a long battle with the Germans. The Germans made a last stand in the castle district, which led to one of the most horrible sieges of the war. Much of Budapest was destroyed. The Soviets never left until the 1990s with the fall of the Soviet Union. During the communist era, the Soviet Red Star hung on the riverfront walls of the Fisherman's Bastion. This could be seen every day from the Pest side, a reminder that the Soviets ruled the city as well as the entire country. There is a lot of renovations that are still going on, especially in the castle area. The royal court was established on the hill, and future kings increased and added to the area with palaces and additional structures. In 1526, the Turkish occupation of Buda began, and the palace began to fall into ruin. By the time the town was liberated in 1686, the palace was almost fully destroyed. When the Turks were expelled, the Austrian Habsburgs took power. There's a lot more up here to walk and see besides the castle and the bastion. These cannons are just for decoration. The castle once held captive the Prince of Darkness, not Ozzy Osbourne, but the Count Dracula himself, or at least the historical figure who inspires the movies. These are Roman ruins. A statue of Andras Hadek, Hungarian nobleman and field marshal of the Habsburg Imperial Army. The guards put on a little bit of a show here. I just don't know if it's for the tourists or maybe just to keep them awake. But either way, this is a must-see place.